that new players make. As a disclaimer, these are in no particular order. It's just a series of observations that I've made over the years as I go through people's accounts on review streams. Number 10 is building strictly according to type. While the type of a monster can be a signpost for how you want to build it, or it could even be indicative of what stat their skills scale with, sometimes it's just totally misleading. The best thing that you can do is understand what your monsters are trying to do and then build them in a way that supports that. A key example of this would be Lauren the Light Cowgirl, who is an attack type, but at her core, she just wants to be built fast and tanky so she can keep landing defense breaks and attack bar reductions for your team. Then there are Spectra and Veramos, who are both support monsters, but we build them on crit damage, though Veramos is more a sign of the changing times. And speaking of the Dark Ifrit, number 9 is not building Veramos. Just in general. Veramos is one of the most helpful units for new players. He offers us 33% HP lead, he has an auto cleanse, and he can do damage against the Abyss dungeon bosses. He's suddenly a staple in all beginner teams for Giant's Abyss. And he's easier to fuse than ever. Back in the day, fusion used to take way longer, and now it's a breeze thanks to a bunch of system changes that happened back in like June-ish of 2023. So if you haven't built one yet, I would prioritize that right away, and you'll find that he'll be helpful in the beginning of the game and all the way into PvP down the line. Number 8 is not accounting for the additional speed given to you by your summoner skills that you've been upgrading as you level up your account. This is a totally understandable oversight to make as you're going through the game. And you probably won't even encounter this until you start trying to speed tune a Dragon's team. Right around the time when you're trying to rune up a Verd to make him go last on the team, but not necessarily be super slow, that's when you're going to encounter these summoner skills. So if you can't quite figure out why a monster is moving ahead of another one, even though they're 1 or 2 speed apart, double check this. And you can do so by tapping pause once you're in a dungeon and going to the battle effect and then battlefield effect submenus. In there, you'll see that your attack speed is passively buffed by the summoner skills that you've been building in the background. So in addition to any bonuses you get from, say, Verd's leader skill, you'll want to take this into account as well when building your monsters. Number 7 is not joining a guild, meaning that you should, in fact, join a guild ASAP. It's a mistake. These are phrased from the position of them being mistakes. Not only will joining a guild net you more passive energy for checking in and also have a whole repository of people to play the game with, you'll also get access to the guild shop, and the guild shop has a lot of great rewards in it. In fact, it's the only way that you can get the Ifrits, not counting El Sharion. He's in a different shop. And Veramos, but we already covered where he is. There are 3 Ifrits in here. I don't know why is it so hard for me to just say there were 3 Ifrits in the guild shop? And sort of a sub point to this, number 6 is do your rival battles and any guild content that you can. Playing guild content is objectively better than not playing guild content. The more guild points you can accumulate, the better. And while you're in that shop that I mentioned earlier, you should also make sure that you're picking up your 5-star Rainbow Mon every week. Number 5. Using your Devilmons on non-nat 5s. I am guilty of this too. I fully Devilmon my Lucian. I understand that that's a mistake. I've made peace with it and I've moved on. We are not our mistakes. All we can do is learn from them and become— Alright, I get it! I also fully Devilmon a Hua. I don't like talking about that one. That one just makes me sad. But I mean, it's not like I don't use Hua. She's in my raids team. Devilmon are one of the material monsters that carry the suffix mon, and what they do is they can substitute members of a monster family at the power-up circle. Because normally, if you had, say, a Leica that you wanted to skill up, you'd have to feed them other Dragon Knights. And that's just not feasible, nor is it sustainable or logical. So instead, you can use Devilmon. Number 4 is not playing RTA. I'm a huge proponent for people playing RTA as soon as humanly possible. I've met a ton of people who are maybe intimidated by the idea of RTA or don't really want to go in there just to lose, but I want to re-emphasize the importance of losing.
Le who? The her.
It's important to get out there and experience monster interactions, understand how your monsters work together, and even play with the support monsters so that way you can experience monsters that aren't necessarily in your collection. Plus, losing and understanding what went wrong is sometimes more valuable than just winning and stomping. Number 3, leaving your dimension hole energy at cap. That is such a waste. That's a bunch of dimension hole energy that is not recharging in the background. So if you've second awakened everything that you want to second awaken, it might be worth diving into the rune dungeons. And would you look at that? We just released a guide for every rune dungeon in the game, currently, as of like June 2024. The dimension hole is the only place where you can get ancient runes, grinds, and gems. So if you're not using that energy, get out there and burn through it. Number 2 is not crafting your re-apps. They're free, so make sure to get them every week, along with the ancient reappraisal stones. It might feel like you're swimming in them right now, but there's gonna come a day where you are out of reappraisal stones and you desperately need them. I am experiencing one of those days. To briefly explain what they are, reappraisal stones allow you to re-roll the substats of a rune. Once you use a re-app, it's going to completely generate new substats for you, along with new rolls. So if you're not happy with the substats on a violent rune, you can use a re-app to get some new substats. And look at that, you've basically made a new rune without farming. Give Vert a break. Let the poor man rest.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
And number 1 is just misunderstanding runes in general. Runes are by far the most important thing in Summoner's War, and they're also the most confusing. So I don't blame you. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Summoner's War. My name is Come To Us Evan, and today we're doing some more account reviews and progression tips live in the global server and chat channel 10. If this happens to be your first time here today, all you got to do is let me know what issue you're having with the game, where you're stuck, and what I can do to help. And also, it helps for me to know what your in-game name is or what your Twitch or YouTube handle is too, just so that way I know who I'm talking to. Faisal, what's going on? Anthony Jordan, Gamer, KC, Urian T, Typhoon. Good to see everybody here today. Welcome to the stream, guys. Yo, Pone Juice, who has such a rad name. And Beston, what's up, guys? Dude, Pone Juice's name is so sick. Like, it's such a cool throwback. Mikhail, what's going on, dude? How are you? Jake Yang, Vivina, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to see you guys. Actually, you guys are making my day today. Throwback to the CS days. Exactly, Pone Juice. Now, that's a throwback word there. Like, Pone is, you don't see that one thrown around too much. Potato of Doom, what's going on? Awfully foreboding. The Prophecy. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Let me stop the farm real quick. Let me stop the farm. Are you guys rating? By the way, I don't know. I think that was something that was being, might have been talked about in the 10 common mistakes. If not, we can talk about it now. To be honest, we actually have a guide coming out on the channel soon on grinds and gems. If you guys aren't rating is like one of the best ways to just like elevate your progress. If you feel like you're plateauing in Summoner's War and you're not too sure what to be doing, like oftentimes spending some time in raids, that'll just solve it. Michael says, did you guys know that Iris's skill 3 used to be an active skill, not a passive skill? No, I did not know that at all. I did not know that at all, actually. A question from Nam says, does the Revenge Rune trigger Camilla's heal passive? So meaning like when she attacks, will she heal? I don't believe it triggers her passive. It will give you an additional chance to try to increase someone's cooldown time. However, it's not taking a turn necessarily. So in theory, you shouldn't be getting a proc from her passive unless you're crit upon, right? If you're crit upon, then that's different because Camilla does have a clause in her passive that activates when she's crit, but not that. I haven't R5 in like 2 years? Dude, we gotta change that. We gotta get you guys farming R5. Stat. You said you were in SW in 2017, Evan. I was in SW in 2017. So that's, but I don't remember, dude, I didn't, well, either way, even if I was in Summoner's War today, even if I just started playing it today, dude, I just got an Iris like maybe 2 months ago or something. She was popping back then. I don't ever remember it being an active skill. From what I remember, it was always a passive skill, but I think it used to like heal, didn't it? Didn't it used to heal and it used to do a lot more, and then she got nerfed. Oh my goodness, dude, what the heck? Man, this coffee's got a sort of like smokiness to it today. Not necessarily in a good way either, more like a dangerous type of way. Like, I don't know if this is like what coffee is supposed to taste like. By the way, you guys like this Garen Forest background? Mitchell, who's kind enough to run the back of the stream today, he created this, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. Used to be a single target, 3-hit, heal block, and heal the lowest HP unit. I'm glad they buffed that. Gamer KC says, me, please, what do you need some help with? Oh my gosh, you have a second awakened addiction. That's what the A in 2A stands for. A second addiction, that's insane. Look at all this. 50 seconds with this team on Dragons. I am fascinated by this. Look at this, using Shina in 2024. Also, Anthony, I don't know if I called it out earlier. You're so sweet. Thank you. That was very nice. And PB and Josh, how'd you become the official Summoners War guy? Just something you fell into? Just curious. That's a really fun question. So I don't know if I'm like the official Summoners War guy, but like, you know, the way that I started making videos for the Summoners War channel was that when I joined up, right? When I joined in to come to us in 2017, I realized that the channel was just kind of sitting there and it wasn't really updated very often. It only had occasional like announcement videos and like cinematics, and it was just kind of like, you know, quiet for the rest of the time. And I was like, you know what, I think we could do something about this. Like, and I used to do YouTube personally. I used to have like a private channel. And I was like, you know, I could maybe try to do something with this. I'd love, and back then they were like, yeah, dude, do it, do your thing, go for it. And that was it. And it was great. And then I just started making videos. That was still when I was balancing community management as well. So it's like I was a community manager in title. Now I've shifted over to the marketing team, but I'm still getting to make the content that I love. So I still get to do my favorite thing, which is stream and make videos. Love your VODs. They've helped me and my friends so much. Vivina, thank you for saying that. That's so nice. Lazy87 says, hope all is well. Evan, been watching for like 5 years. Y'all are fantastic. Mikhail says, no way, what was your channel called? Dude, I can't, that's a secret. Now, are there hints? There are hints, like I know a few people have found it. It isn't updated. One day I'll probably bring it back. I say I used to have it. I still have it, I just don't update it. Refocusing in on the account here from Gamer KC. So the second awakened addiction. You have a very respectable Giants time, by the way. The Jameer speed lead is such a cool choice. Like the speed lead for this pseudo speed team, like you've invented your own comp. That's something that I'm liking when I'm looking at this book, is that you seem to take the ideas from established comps and then you turn them into your own thing, right? So your Giants team, assuming this is still the one that you're using, this is a very unique twist on the team that a lot of people are using, but with Teshar in the leader slot instead. How do I get my energy to 290? Mine only goes up to like 260. Is it a building? Yeah, there's a building, and then I think there's a pack that also temporarily increases it, but there is a building that takes it up to 290. I am doing a Soul Strike stream today, Dirty Sanchez. Man, that was a lot of S's. That was an alliteration you just handed to me. Thank you. Just came back to the game after about a 2-year hiatus, looking to soak in everything I can. Dude, 2 years. These last 2 years are a difficult 2 years to miss because the game has changed a lot. So I would love to help you out with that. So KC in chat says that they can't seem to keep C1. Let's see what we can do about that. What is your core RTA comp right now? Or unless you're talking about Arena, but I imagine you're talking about RTA. Oh, nice. You've got the Kyle built too. Madeline Federica, that's great. I don't think you've got all of your monsters out right now. I can give some loose recommendations with what I'm seeing here. So like you have, I've actually listed Federica as one of the top 5 counter picks in RTA, and it feels weird calling a snipe unit like her a counter pick, but essentially she is. If you see, like you don't need a snipe comp to run Federica, which lands her in an interesting position. So that means oftentimes if you see that the enemy has like a comp that could just lose a unit right out the gate, if you just slam down a Federica, like oftentimes that's enough to call her a counter pick, and she's great for it. You can also go for like a debuff comp. I don't know if you have any supporters other than Tomoe and the Fire Demon, but like this with the speed lead, technically you could do something cool with this, right? Because he applies cleanse block, which is oddly effective with Tomoe. And then Michael says Federica plus Bastet, if you happen to have her, is awesome. And KC is going to take out some more units. So why don't I come back? I'll come back to this in a second. Let me see if I can help with this. Viper says, looking for some help with my Punisher's Crypt Abyss hard team. Super inconsistent, and I can't figure out why. This is a good question that a lot of people have, actually. So let's see what we got. It is the Vampires Walking Dogs team. So I'll look at it real quick, but 2 things that I'll say about that before I even go into the account. Love this spiral. This is such a cool design that you got. 2 things that I'll say about it before we even like go deep. You want to try doing it with Ergar as the lead as well as Vern. See which one you do the best with. Typically speaking, I've gotten better results with Ergar. I don't know if that's true with everybody. Now, the other thing too is like, if you don't mind it being a couple seconds slower, you could totally do the towers. Like the towers adds time, but it's a negligible amount of time as long as you're applying defense break. I noticed this Ikaru has no accuracy, and that's okay. We can work around that. Let's check the vampires. So the vampires, we got crit damage. He is on violent. Might not have a rage set to support it just yet, but to me, I think a rage verd is probably the best in this case, specifically because he is doing the most damage on turns that are not his own. So you really, that extra chance to get one extra turn is not as valuable, because if you think about it in terms of like the dogs, right? The point of the vampires walking dogs. Ikaru, Rauk, and Crow all have an opportunity to give Verd like a turn. So like what I would maybe try to do is maybe try to shift him over to a rage build so you can get more, you can squeeze a little bit more crit damage out of him. And then he's just getting all those turns from the dogs and doing huge damage. With this Rauk, the Rauk is looking good. I think he's just lacking a little crit rate. I think that might just be it. He is on attack, crit damage. Let me just look at this really quick. This has got 10% crit rate, but that's really all that this is like, that's all this rune is contributing. This one's got high defense. I'd like some crit damage on here too. This one's not bad. It's not bad. It could be worse. Let's see here. Nice attack on that rune, and crit rate 3. This is pretty low. This is pretty low. So I think these two runes are probably the weak links here, just because like this one's not really giving us much of what we're looking for. I think you could find a slot 2 and slot 6 attack rune and reasonably upgrade this. Hyper fixate on the crit rate and crit damage for these, right? Let me see what else is going on in chat real quick. And this Ikaru gives me Evan's Abigail vibes. Guys, if you haven't seen it, my Abigail has 0% accuracy. We posted it, so we made a short about that actually. So the short is on YouTube, and it's so funny because people are like, oh, people forget that the artifacts exist. She doesn't have accuracy in the artifacts either. She has none. She has purely 0, true 0% accuracy, like never misses a defense break. I don't know what's going on with my Abigail is cracked. She's like, for whatever reason, I think she thinks the whole job of sustaining the team is on her, and she takes that job very seriously. Okay, going back in here real quick. PB and Josh, I didn't realize that was your first time in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Also to Dirty Sanchez, if you're still here too. Welcome to the chat. And I think we still have Ergar and one more dog to look at. So let's just do that real quick. Fatal's fine, I like Fatal. He's kind of got low crit rate, and I don't know if he is going first. That's the one thing I'd like you to just double check on. If he's moving first, stellar. You don't have to change anything. I just want to double check. In theory though, Ergar should move first on the team. And that way he can put attack buff on everybody, and then they're doing max damage when it actually comes to them. Let me see Crow. Crow is good. I don't need anything necessarily changed with Crow right away. Perfect Viper. I don't need anything changed with Crow right away. That's like, I would say like it, you know, is there room for like maybe some grinds down the line? Yes. There's definitely rooms for stuff to be grinded. But I think that he would be the lowest priority. What I'd like to see you try to do, I'd like to see you try to add a little bit more crit rate here. Shift Verd over to just see if you can shift Verd over to a rage build, because I think you'll enjoy it more. Because like I said, when it's not his turn, he's going to be getting more value. You get value out of Violent when it's your turn, right? And we're looking for Verd to have more value outside of his turn, because all the dogs are pulling him. And then try that. So now if you realize in your runes that you can't really support a 100% crit rate Verd with high crit damage and everything else that you need, then that's okay. I would target the towers. The other piece of information, I know this is a lot, this is my last one, my last tip, and then we'll stop. I would make sure that Verd is moving last, right? You want Verd to move last on the team. That's the other thing. Because you ideally want him to give the maximum amount of attack bar. Matters slightly less when there's a lot of team ups, right? Because he's gonna get pulled, but still I think it's an important thing to remember, and then your other teams will thank you too. Because if you're using Verd for like your Dragons comp, he will benefit there too. Okay. Alcraft says, hello, first time on a stream. I started playing this game after a friend got me into it. I made an account 3 years ago, but I just now started using it and been at it for a week and a half. Dude, I'm so glad you found the stream, actually. That's awesome. This is the perfect place for it. So I can do my best to answer any questions you got, and then obviously the chat is just a huge repository of information. Like, folks in here have tons of knowledge. So if you have any questions at all, please drop them. I'm glad you found it. No way, Estella Maki, salve, welcome. Boitarji, I didn't see that you made it to the stream. Guys, this is great. Speaking plainly, I was a little grumpy this morning, so I'm very happy to be talking to you guys. Like, this is a very cool, I love getting the chance to talk to you guys on Wednesdays. You make my day. It was just a long morning. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for talking. This is like very nice. Michael Myers has been playing this game for too long. Dude, I've been playing it for a long time as well. Not as long as everybody else, but don't be grumpy. We enjoy you so much. Oh, you guys are sweet. I enjoy you too. I'm feeling a lot better now. Okay, next up. Lion says hi. What's up? Hi, it's Stormy. What's up? I want G3 RTA, dude. I don't think I'll be able to help you with G3 RTA. I can't help myself with G3 RTA. Although, do you guys use? I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but do you guys use SW Arena? Do you like go on and look at like win rates and stuff like that? I do go on there and just check up every so often. Like, that's something cool to do. I know that's not exactly going to be everything it takes to get you G3. I'm just making conversation. Evinos, will we have Soul Strike later today? Sim. Yeah, we will. We'll be playing some Soul Strike later. So guys, if you enjoy Summoner's War, you enjoy the stream, come back. I'll be doing another stream in 2 hours 45 minutes. 2 hours 45 minutes from now. Whatever time zone you're in, just come back then. So we'll just round up, just call it 3 hours. Be here in 3 hours, and I'll be streaming Soul Strike as well. PBN Josh, did you have a particular question? I see you in here. SWRT helpful as well. Lazy87. If you're willing to make my teams for pretty much all PvE content since I don't remember what I need. So Stormy, let me give you some recommendations. So for Giants B10, you have a couple working components here that we can work with, right? Let's start here. I see that you have a Veramos too from your Dragon's Lair team, and you've got Lauren. You're still in a stage of Giants where you can use both Fran and Lauren. I wouldn't get too committed to that though, because once you make it to the Abyss floors, you don't want to use both. Heck, you barely want to use either, to be totally honest. You may not want to use either of them once you get there. So, but for this team right now, I think what you could effectively do is you could put Veramos as your leader, run Lauren, Fran, Teshar. I'm trying to see if I can see anything else in here. Maybe a Economir. Actually, I see you have the Wind Ifrit. You use them on your Steel Fortress team. You could totally use the Wind Ifrit here, actually. Light Gamer, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the chat. Want to peep my mons, see a team I could use? I have them out. Yeah, actually, Lazy. You know what? I will. I'll check it out right after this. So again, just as a reminder, don't expect a G3 RTA comp from me, but I'd love to check it out regardless. So I'll come see it. Besson asks an interesting question. So is the rune optimizer something SW is okay with? So, you know, from a company perspective, I can't basically say yes, you can use that. I'm unable to say that because technically speaking, it is against the terms of service. Now, am I going to do anything about it if you tell me that you use it? No, I am not. I'm no snitch. I've got on record saying I ain't a cop, right? I ain't cop to us. So I'm not going to turn you in if you're using the optimizer. I don't mind. You know, speaking as a player, I don't think it should be necessarily breaking TOS, but so, you know, cop to us. So you guys honestly do what you want. Just, you know, be safe about it. Just know that, like, technically speaking, it is against TOS. So, like, use at your own risk, right? That's all I'll say about that. Should I fuse 9 Valkyries, 11 Panda Warriors, 13 Paladins, and 11 Totem? Wait, what is it? What do you want about? What is this? Valim Chan said, yo, Evan, could you answer me one thing? Should I fuse 9 Valkyries, 11 Panda Warriors, 13 Paladins, and 11 Totems for skill ups? Or will this melt my last remaining brain cells? Dude. Man, I don't know if you should. So, you know what? We have a new video coming out soon. Actually, it's today. It's which monster should you max skill? Because we got that max skill up event in game. And so, like, so we go into detail about like how to decide what monster to skill up, and that's actually something I talk about. So one of the things that I mention is that, like, if a monster has fusible skill ups, you may not want to, but what's really most important is that, like, you just be honest with yourself. Like, just if you're gonna do it, that's great. But if not, It's more important that you have a fully skilled up monster. People in chat are saying, yes, Fuse, yes, Fuse. Bane, welcome, dude. I'm Hope. Stoic, you'll never get me alive, Evan. Dude, we got an APB out on Stoic right now. Much love, dude. Martian Empire says, I saw the clip on YT for Necro. Did you see the video on Necro, Abyss, or did you see my Abigail with 0 accuracy? I guess it's one and the same. A Gamer KC is saying to fuse them, melt your brain. Who cares? Just go for it. Fusing all those skill ups takes so much work and it's tiring doing that much farming. It does save Devilmon though. Exactly, Potato of Doom. So that's the balancing act there, right? So you gotta decide, do you care about the act of fusing and like the time that you're spending, or do you care about those Devilmon? People have different answers. So again, I wanna re-emphasize that I don't think you're wrong for doing either. It's just a matter if you're honest with yourself. Like if you say, I'm gonna fuse the skill ups for Veramos or for anybody, and then you don't end up doing it, it'd be better to just have a fully skilled up Veramos or whatever. Maybe Veramos is a bad example, but like, you see what I'm saying. Okay, so actually, yeah, with that said, guys, check out the channel later today because we're gonna have a video on that. So Stormy, start with Giants, start with that Giants team we talked about, get some Swift runes, and then we can talk about Dragons and Necro as well. Oh, Dark Master says, can you help me with Rift Dungeons? Specifically, Rift Dungeon 5. So specifically Raid. Yes, I can. I can't see all of the comps you're using. Oh, but this is like a good start. It's not exactly a BJ5 team, but it's a good start. If this survives, then great. This could be one of your teams. This could be on the far right. The other two comps, I think it'd be better to probably just show you what I was doing because I was farming raids right before this. So this is a great question. And actually, at the very beginning of stream, I dropped some raid propaganda, actually, because I really think that you should do this. So let's get rid of like some non-farmable Nat 5s. So there's only 3 non-farmable units on this comp, as long as we're counting Hall of Heroes. So like my comp uses Ariel, it uses Annabelle, and it uses Brandia. So let's actually, let me cue back into this just so that way you guys can see. So let's talk about like Brandia first, right? So obviously Brandia's position is damage, right? You want to reduce these down to archetypes. So you can replace Brandia with any damage dealers. Ariel and Annabelle, you can replace with cleansers. You need cleanse ideally on an active skill, not something that's on a passive because the boss has Oblivion. And so where am I going with this? Basically what I'm trying to say is your high damage comp you want to put on the right, then you want to have 2 starter teams on the left and the middle. Why do people have level 1 sacrifice units for their R5 teams? Basically what the sacrifice units do, the level 1, usually it's the Fire Sylphid, and she has a passive ability that says when she passes away, she cleanses everybody and restores their health. So that's extremely valuable for keeping your other units alive. So basically the monster or the boss attacks, kills that unit, then Baelger gets stacks right away because as units die, he gets knowledge stacks. And then he's immediately filled up, and now all of a sudden your whole team is cleansed and ready to go. It's great. It's great. Hey Evan, what comp should I use for the Dark Asura and RTA? Dude. So the Dark Asura is a fascinating unit to me. I think we might have talked about this before. You want to bring him on comps that are already punishing people for like attacking monsters, I think. It's a little harder to use him in RTA if I'm being honest. He's really good in Siege and he's also good in Arena, I think. But it's a little hard to make him work in RTA. But he seems super dope. I would probably put him in a comp that's already punishing people for like attacking certain monsters. So like for instance, like a Manon, a Jingjae, stuff like that, that's already like punishing people for attacking units that are not them. That's where I would bring him. He's a counterattack unit at his heart, right? So he wants to sit there and bruise. And I'm losing my train of thought on the raid, so let me just finish out that thought. The rest of the R5 comp, by the way, is pretty farmable. Like as far as damage goes, we have like Second Awakened Crow, we have the Wind Homunculus and stuff like that. So basically you just want to support the team with like good cleanse abilities, like Zhang Fei, the Fire Panda Warrior skill 2, where he cleanses the whole team and applies like a heal buff. That's the sort of thing that's going to keep the teams like up and ready to attack. I haven't tried the raids yet. Should I? I just feel like I'm not at that level yet. Outcraft, absolutely. I would try raids and try to climb up as far as you can. Obviously, solo is the goal. Low, you know, solo is the goal low, but if you can't do R5 like just yet, that's okay. Maybe farm a little R4 for a little while. I'm on the global server right now for folks asking as well. Okay. Hi, YouTube. Let's see, where do we go? Gamer KC. So KC, just to wrap up what we were talking about, KC was looking to hold C1 and RTA. So let's talk some good units. Oh, you have the makings for like a cleave already. I'm just gonna go over to LDs and just see if there's like a build around back here, something that we really wanna use. Got this, which is cool. Anything back here as well? Nope, okay. Back to the start. Back to the start. Let's just talk good units. Chow as a counter pick nowadays is really good. I was actually planning on ruining up a Chow for this season of RTA. Exactly, Michael Myers, I missed your comment. Some grinds are better than no grinds. Yes. SGT, hey, welcome to the chat. The first time in chat. I'm a returning summoner, and the Abyssal dungeons and the new dungeon are new to me. Any tips on those? Yes, absolutely. So I would love to help you out if I can. If you post in chat channel 10 on global, just let me know who you are. I can jump on and look at your book and advise based on what teams you're using, or I can see what units you've got. I would love to give you some guidance, and I'll give you some generic like umbrella tips right now. Something I will say though is like if you go to our YouTube channel, the Summoners War app page, I actually have a video for each Abyss dungeon, and I try to keep it pretty brief, you know? I try to keep it pretty brief, so that way you can get as much, you basically don't have to invest too much time to like get a working Abyss team, but I go into a significantly more amount of detail, significantly more detail in those videos than I'd have time for to do here. The one tip that I give you, say, for like Giants Abyss though, is that the boss's counterattack is way more brutal in the Abyss than it was in B10. Rusty, welcome to the stream. Man, a lot of new people here. I'm so glad you guys made it today. I try to do these pretty often, by the way. Usually Wednesdays. Next Wednesday is going to be a is not going to be an account review stream though, because next Wednesday actually we have a Discord war going on with the CM Flash war. But after that, I'll return to account reviews and progression tips. Okay, so let's talk teams. Let's see what you can do to hold C1. You can get pretty far just by slapping down a Wusa sometimes, by the way. Like if you pick a double immunity comp, Josephine is such a great... Celtic, what's up, dude? Josephine is a great anti-CC unit, like one of the best counter picks for water in general. She was actually on that video recently. Same with Hagang. Abelio is great heal. This is what I was talking about when I said that I think you're actually kind of set up for like cleaving if you wanted to. Let me just see what else you got, because I am more comfortable playing Bruise. Velajul is extremely popular right now. I would rune up a Masha if you don't have a rune for RTA. The reason I like Masha so much is that because she fits into several different strategies, picking her is semi-neutral. It doesn't necessarily like give away what you're trying to do. Frank Doe, hey Evan, I recently returned to playing. Can you help me with my arena defense and arena offense? There's free-to-play monsters that are needed. I'm willing to work on them. My in-game name is Zyrofox, or Zyrofire, excuse me. Yeah, would love to help. Oh, and Valingen also gave really good advice on Abyssal Dungeons. Cucumber, aloha. Welcome. I'm doing well. I'm doing a lot better now that we're streaming together, to be honest. It's been great. I told chat I was a little bit grumpy this morning, so I'm glad that everybody's here. I'm glad I'm getting a chance to talk to you guys. It's really nice. Oh, dude, runing up a 0 speed Rakan to counter Leos is so much fun. Like, I was doing this with Simba the other day. So Simba has a 0 speed Rakan, and he was on stream, and it was like, it's so fun just blasting people with his counterattack when they don't expect it. Specifically when people pick Leo against you, right? Oh, and Estela Maki, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you. Feeling a lot better. So I'm noticing that you can actually play with some pretty meta picks, by the way. So these, Smicer, Byung-chul, and Cigar, your wind monsters are particularly incredible. I didn't see Water Twins. That was from a different account. So you could absolutely do the thing. You could absolutely do the Veligul Cigar route. I would maybe even have like Veligul Cigar is great because now you've got immunity. You have strip and reset. You could bring Wusa for immunity and shield if you want, but I would make it so like Cigar, Vela are your core, just like everybody else is playing that right now. If you're comfortable playing to the meta, that's great. You can almost think about it as like banning those units in a sense because you're taking them and now they're on your team. I would think about ruining up a Byung-Chul. Byung-Chul is like extremely strong for a reason. Auto crit, max HP scaling damage, strip and steal buffs. Crazy monster. Smicer has been kind of like, you know, people are getting more used to playing against Smicer. So I would figure out your core 3 units. I would figure out 3 units you really want to play with that are going to form the foundation of your comp, and then don't lock in the 4th and 5th pick in your mind until you're in the pick ban phase. Thank you, Cucumber. I feel a lot better actually. So I got pretty sick, and it was a while. And could use a defense buffer, someone says. Oh, guys, I'm getting a lot of message. Okay, no problem, Casey. Okay, and I see Sean W. here asking about this. Fastlix is trying to reach C1 in RTA. Could you help me make a comp that can get there? Fastlix has some really fun toys, so like some cool LD monsters, so this could actually be really fun to take a look at. So let's see what you got in the LDs beforehand, before we get too committed to anything. Dude, so Pater with like, unfortunately you can't just flat out pick Ongyuki, but that doesn't mean don't have him ruined. I would absolutely have him ruined, and I like the way you've got him ruined right now too. Excuse me. Oh, and Majestic Unicorn, so this is Stormy. Would you mind really quickly looking at my profile and telling me what GB12 team to use? I didn't quite get what team to use when you first looked at my Giants comp. Yeah, I can re-review it and let you know. So I reckon we should probably do something with Kiki. You've got a Kiki. I think we should probably do some sort of like debuff crowd control sort of comp. So like strip with like Kiki Shizuka. I think that sounds super, super hot to me. You could use Jogun as a stripper. I go on record all the time and I say that people totally underestimate Jogun. Poor Jogun got like 1 nerf and people just totally relegated him to like unusable. You could do like Jogun and Chungpung. As much as I dislike Chungpung's skill 2's activation rate, I still think you might be able to bring him because he fits well into the control comp you're trying to use. Alternatively, you could do Nora. It's suddenly skewing to become a lot of like fire monsters in this case, but I think if you're doing like a debuff heavy comp anyway, it's you know, it's bound to happen. It's okay. Yeah, you could do like Nora and Jogun as your strippers, bring Kiki, bring Shizuka. That is one more monster that I'm usually comfortable like assigning. Alternatively, if you didn't want to do Nora, you could do Praha. Praha doesn't super break the comp because really you're concerned about like waking them up sometimes, but like I don't think it matters because Shizuka doesn't hit. So I think that could be something really fun to do. And let me see what else we got here. So I'm gonna try to go a little faster, guys, because I'm seeing a lot of questions kind of pop up here. So Stormy was saying that they needed a little bit more help on that Giants comp. Oh, you didn't quite, I see what you're saying now. Okay, so I would take your Veramos, put him as your leader, use Fran, use Lauren, use a Kamamir, who's the Wind Ifrit that I see you have on the Steel Fortress. And then technically, so we've got Veramos as leader, we've got Fran, we got Lauren, we've got a Kamamir. You may be able to use Teshar in that comp actually. You might actually be able to bring him in there. So I would start that. I would start there. I would bring that team in there and see how it does. I am a big fan of Veramos on crit damage, right? So it's like, I don't know if you necessarily have the runes to support that yet, but Veramos on Rage with speed, crit damage, HP on your 2, 4, and 6 slots for the rune wheel, that's like one of the best ways to run a Veramos now, because if you take a look at his skill 2, it has max HP damage scaling on it, and bosses have a ton of HP. So it's like he's gonna be doing a lot of damage. So that's my favorite way to build Veramos. I know a lot of people do. The only other thing I'll say about this is that when you move on to Abyss floors, the next stage after 10, that's when you're not going to want to continue using Fran and Lauren. Instead, I would use Shannon and Bella Dion, and those monsters are the Wind Pixie and the Light Inugami, respectively. Okay, let's keep going. PBNJ, who first time in chat today as well. Any RTA Team Core Rex for my boss? I'm missing most of the Metacore units, unfortunately. That's okay. That lets us play with some fun stuff. And I see that you have a lot of good Bruiser units already too, so we could do that. I actually see Chandra in here, dude. I think I saw Chandra on your profile already, so I think you actually might have slightly more than you think. Like Chandra's pretty meta. I've been running Adriana, by the way, and I really like this unit. I think she's really fun. Usually when she slips by, I end up winning the game, which is cool. She applies a lot on that skill 3, and the Oblivion comes in clutch every so often. Let's see what else we got. Oh, by the way, for everybody in chat too, I would just kind of have a Tetra rune. Like, I would maybe just have one. Tetra gets around all the cleanse block stuff. So you know how like Layla comps, Layla Tomoe, those monsters, and Layla applies cleanse block, right? Tetra gets around cleanse block because she does what I like to colloquially call a soft cleanse, right? So she's not removing any debuffs. She's reducing the number of turns on the buffs, which that wording gets around cleanse block. Because you're not removing it. Cleanse block prevents you from removing any buffs. You're not removing anything, you're just reducing the number of turns. I love that sort of thing. Cucumber says, as a fair Layla Tomoe Hagang spammer, I hate Tetra. Exactly, Cucumber. Dude, there's no such thing as fair Layla Tomoe. That's hilarious. Excuse me. Estella Maki. Also, guys, as Evan always said, you should fuse the Dark Dekebi Lord. It's free and really good in RTA. Yeah, thank you for that. Estella Maki will make sure that people remember I was on board with that way earlier. Okay, let's keep looking for some more priority units. So we already said that Chandra's great. I also really like Praha still. I'm just throwing it out there. Praha on Violent, 100% crit rate. Amazing, amazing monster. Come to us, Panda. Welcome to the chat, dude. I would have an Antares rune too. Antares often doesn't require runes that you would put on anybody else because you can actually rune him on 0 speed. Like my Antares is on 0 speed. And that's my preferred way to play with Antares, by the way, because if you're banking on the passive to win you the game, you might as well just have complete faith in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well just believe that the only way he's getting turns is through the passive. So I rune mine on absolutely 0 speed, just hopes and dreams. That's all I've got in that speed slot. Someone said that he's got Alice, which is super fun with Chandra as well. Wait, where's Alice? Oh my gosh, you do have Alice. Yo, this is actually, oh my gosh, thank you. Cucumber, that is actually a really good suggestion. So if we're already going off meta, right? If you're committed and you're like, I don't need to play with meta comps, Cucumber is absolutely right. This is actually a very fun unit to pair with Chandra. Because Chandra puts a shield, puts a hug buff on somebody, you can run Alice, who goes into the state where all of a sudden she's reducing the amount of damage that people are taking based on her defense. So like, you can do some fun stuff with the hug here. So I would recommend maybe exploring that. Let me talk about other units in here. I would have a Juno rune on Despair Revenge. I love Dominic, just as damage. I actually rune him on speed HP. I rune him on speed HP. I love my Dominic. And it's very fun. Why? Because I'm a G told me to do that and I never went back. I love him on speed HP. And just high attack in the subs, like no crit rate at all. I did just want to mention one thing. If you are comfortable with your speed, so if you think that you have decent speed, you actually do have some units that could set you up for a strong start. Namely, I saw Chiwu for the speed lead. I saw Sekhmet, the Fire Desert Queen, right here. You also have Federica too, Adriana as well. So I just wanted to shout out, you do have the makings for a snipe comp. Mo Long also fits on this, to be honest. You can Mo Long, so you could Reckless somebody right at the start. So that's just something to consider. It's not saying that you have to go that route, but it's definitely something that you could take. I just wanted to say that because I think you've got it. If you feel like maybe the Chiwu is overkill or like the AoE strip is unneeded or unnecessary, I like his speed lead though, but Verisa is also an exceptional AoE strip monster. Okay, let me jump out of here. PB&J, I hope that helps. Oh, Estella Maki, I'm sorry, I don't think we have the Stream Elements overlay here. I have that at my house, but I don't have it at the office. I'm sorry about that. Mike says, I'm always overwhelmed with RTA and I don't know what monsters to use. Why don't we do the same thing we just did? Is this a predominantly LD account? Seems like you're doing really well, dude. Like, Mike, this account is kind of cracked, dude. Oh my goodness, and you've got Deborah and everything? Man, I think you've got the units. You definitely have the units. This account seems like it could definitely be like C2, right? I mean, just based on the times. Just if you're farming this, if you didn't, like assuming that you're farming these locations and not just setting the record and then stopping, like, I actually think that you could be C2. Based on the units I'm seeing and based on your team times. So let's talk. I'm having fun, let's talk. I'm kind of in this RTA mood right now. This seems really fun. This is my next project, guys. I think I'm gonna build the Kyle speed team. Can I say, so guys, let me say something, and I'm totally aware that I've been cutting myself off and taking detours in thought all day. I'm losing the train of thought constantly. I just wanna say one thing about the max skill event, and then I'll get back to talking about RTA, I promise. So the max skill event, there's a video coming out today at 3 p.m. Pacific time that's kind of saying what monster should you max skill, and it goes through like how to decide a nap up, how to decide a nap 4, how to decide a second awakened monster, and it gives a couple suggestions along the way too. One of the things that I suggest is that you shouldn't necessarily max skill monsters that have no skill ups in their passive, right? Because that sounds like kind of a waste. Like Varamos, his passive doesn't get any better. There are no skill levels in it, right? So that normally means like, you know, you're not getting all that value. Now, with that said, Kyle has insane numbers of skill ups, and he has a passive that has no skill ups. So you're actually getting a lot of value through this guy. Do you see this? Do you see how many there are? This is what, 11? Is this 11? Or is it 10? No, it's 10. I'm sorry, I only subtracted 1. He's got 10 skill ups on a monster that has a passive with no skill levels in it. Low-key crazy. Back to what we were talking about. So you're looking for RTA, you're saying that you're a little overwhelmed, right? And I can see why. One of the main things to remember when going into RTA is to not have too many monsters ruined up. I did see one thing that I'd like to recommend right out the gate, actually. Alexandra, this monster. Alexandra is a tough monster for people to play around. Vivina says, wish we could mute guild shouts during stream times. Keep getting lost in the shuffle. Dude, Vivina, that's so funny. I don't know if I've ever said this on stream. I don't know if I've ever said this story. Please know that I'm speaking as Evan, not as the company when I say this. Dude, when they introduced the guild shouts, man, I was so bummed that day because I record footage of the game like frequently, right? Like I go in and I record footage. And when those things came out all those years ago, dude, people were putting just the rawest stuff in chat. Like just the meanest, like cruelest, like terrible, and we had to blur the chat for ages. Like people were abusing that thing like crazy. It has calmed down. It's honestly calmed down a lot, and I'm thankful for that, and we had a feeling it would. But when they released that, I was like, what have they done? Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to share that because I don't know if I've said it on stream before. Alexandra is a monster that people are really like uncomfortable playing around, myself included. I actually have I have a fairly low win rate around this monster, and it's not always as simple as just like, oh, Tesari on it, because you can easily support this monster with cleansing units. You could even bring Varamos with it too. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you got here. Okay, so I'm noticing you've got Cigar. I really do want you to play with Alexandra, but I would like, not like COD lobbies, but still crazy, I imagine. Dude, it felt like a COD lobby for a second. Like that, because I mean, people could put whatever they wanted, like and blast it through all channels. It was similar to like COD lobbies of past, Cucumber. You're right that it was like maybe 80% of a COD lobby, you know? Exactly, Estella Maki, and I would see these things and I'd get like the perfect clip and then I'd be like, oh man, I gotta blur that. Can't show that. Okay, oh, lazy, thank you. I'm sorry, dude. I've totally forgotten to go back to your account, but yeah, there's a lot going on. I'll try to hustle. I see why you're getting overwhelmed. If people in chat have suggestions for how to bring in an Alexandra, actually, ironically, Eleanor pairs decently well with Alexandra, because what I was just saying is that it's not as simple as bringing Tessarion, right? Because you can easily cleanse it. Eleanor has a cleanse. Eleanor has a cleanse. So you could actually bring like an Eleanor plus an Alexandra, although I think that doesn't she make it like the attack speed will be increasing? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, so increases the chance of landing a glancing hit. So the only problem with that is that like it does reduce the amount of clapback that Alexandra is gonna send because you're reducing the damage, the incoming damage. And Alexandra actually benefits from getting hurt more, right? So that's just something to keep in mind, but if you wanted to use your LD5s, you're in a unique position where I actually think you could use both of the LD horses. This is not something people often have, and I think independently, Eleanor is like not super stellar, like she isn't, but with her sister, she might actually be kind of cool. So just something to keep in mind because I think this is actually a pretty unique position you're in. Like sometimes people have a tendency to evaluate units in a vacuum, but like sometimes they forget it's like, oh, but if you have this weird combo, could be cool. Kind of like the Chandra Alice combo that we talked about, right? It's like independently, Alice is like, oh, she's fine, she's kind of niche, she's whatever, but with Chandra, she's really cool. And then you have Cigar. So earlier I talked about picking Cigar so that way you deny the opponent Cigar, and that in and of itself is kind of worth it. You could do like Chandra, oh my god, you have Cigar and Veligil. I noticed you don't have Chandra. You could do more Water Ryu. You could do Water Ryu with it. There's not much situation. There aren't many situations where this is like necessarily like a bad pick, right? Like you could do a high attack Ryu, bring it with Veligil, bring it with Cigar, and now all of a sudden you have a speed lead and 3 elements. You've got 3 elements. And then your 4th and 5th picks can be flexible. I would maybe start there and just see how it goes. Alternatively, you could also rune up a Zibala. A piece of tech that I really like with Zibala is that because his base speed is so high, that means you get more mileage out of your best Swift set, right? So what you could do is you could put your best Swift set on Zibala, use his skill 2 as your opener to boost up, say, like your Cigar, right? So you run Zibala, Cigar, and Veligil, or it's something, right? Boost up Cigar, fills up the attack bar by 50%. So now all of a sudden your Cigar didn't have to be the fastest unit on your team. Because it's way harder to get a base speed unit of, it's 98? Harder to get a 98 speed unit to be the fastest on the team next to a Zibala. So you might as well not fight it. And you can just do Zibala, boost up Cigar, and then have a great day. Mike, I hope that helps to some degree. I know that was still a lot, but I totally understand why you're overwhelmed. The main thing that I would say, don't have too many units ruined. I would find your core, find like 3 units you're comfortable playing with, if that's Water Ryu and Cigar and Vela, or if you want to swap out that first one for like, if you want to swap out more for Zibala, that's great. Find those 3 and then flex pick in 4 and 5. Those are going to be your counter pick slots. I know I don't think I saw a Juno, but like for instance, like a Juno could go there, or like Veramos could go there if they're like bringing a lot of like debuffs. You could bring in a second immunity and like Wusa. That 4th and 5th should be a little bit flexible, but don't ruin too many. Just have like a Leo, a Juno, like cleanse options, you know, slow options, something like that. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, can I return to Lazy? I just wanted to look at Lazy real quick. So Lazy's done really well in RTA and Arena, and you were saying C2 plus advice. And a lot of people try to maintain that area. So let's see what units to focus on. Lazy, I'd love to hear what you're playing with currently too. Like what have you been playing with? What brings you joy? What kind of comps do you like? Because I know people have like, you know, it's kind of like, it's like MTG decks, right? It's like anything. There's archetypes out there that you're not a huge fan of. Like for me, I know for a fact I'm actually not that big of a fan of playing Snipe. I like recommending and watching Snipe comps, but I'm not a big fan of playing Snipe. I'm actually kind of a bit of a degenerate when it comes to RTA. I like double reset. I like playing to the meta. I actually really like, I am the type of player who really likes things like Oliver, and I like Okeanos. I know Okeanos is not like at the top, stuff like that. I like Bruise comps, and what else do I like? There's one other thing I like. So I said I like double reset. I like playing in the meta. Oh, I get even more toxic. I like units that just sit there and accrue value. Honestly, like I am the opposite of how like Seppi plays the game, for instance. Like Seppi hates things like that. I love it. So Lazy wants to push with Bruiser turn 2 types of things. Also, not everybody has Evan's eyes to identify Magnum matches. Yes, I do love like those gimmicky monsters though, where it's like I can see it. Not to call Magnum ain't gimmicky, every game is a Magnum game, right? So turn to Bruiser. So right out the gate, I do like Camilla, but I'm really into the idea of like a tech Chow right now. Now this Chow is not the type of monster that you're gonna pick every game. He's frankly not. He has found himself in a similar realm to his brother Laika, where he is a counter pick, truly. So if you see that people are like picking fire, like fire, water, you know, it's like there's a Bella Jewel, there's like a Chandra, stuff like that. You can pick Chow and give him a run for their money. I actually really like this. Antara's Abuser, I see? Yes, exactly. That's also me. So you already clearly have like an idea of what your comp can be. I mean, if you've made it to C2, I think you probably know what you enjoy playing with. So I'm gonna shout out a few units that might like kind of, you know, maybe act as some glue. I find Abellio and Josephine are both usable in more situations than I think. One quick thing that I would change too about Abellio, just based on his runes here, I actually have my Abellio on an extremely high crit rate. I have him as somebody who can contribute damage, because Abellio is a unit that people don't always focus right away, and you want to punish them for that. So Abellio can actually close out a game if you rune him on high crit rate and high defense. Josephine, I love the high crit damage. You built her great, awesome job. Make sure this guy is on Despair. You already know what you're doing for sure. I think Minato fits into your comp well. Any monster that makes it so that people have to think extra hard to play around. You have great water units, by the way. We haven't even gotten to fire yet. Rune a zero speed Rakan is super sick too to punish Leos. Have a Meiho Wang runed as well to punish Leos. For different reasons, right? Like Rakan is just extremely impactful. Meiho Wang gains speed in the background, so he has a way to circumvent Leo's passive. Interesting, wait. Yeah, Stoic said 3 or 4 fire units, and you can legitimately just slam down a Chow and Camilla and call it a day. It really is that simple. If you want to play Bruiser, like sometimes you don't want to overthink it. Play to the elements that your opponent is bringing to you. I'm just looking around here, seeing if there's anything else. Obviously, we'll have this runed. We can have this rune. I think the key to playing a successful Bruiser team is just having like a couple units of each element runed up. So that way, if you need to shift, oh, you've got Byung Troll. Dude, you've got great options for this. Yeah. I'm glad that you wanted to play this sort of play style. Oh my God, dude. No way! Oh my God, what? Yo, we should be playing with some of these, actually. We should be playing with some of these for sure. Man, this is dope. Dude, I love this account. Are you kidding me? Yo, Yanhong with high crit damage? Dude, this is so good. We should do high crit rate. I wish that she got the same buff as her sister, Mi Yang. So she doesn't auto crit, unfortunately. She does not auto crit. I really wish that she did get that same buff as Mi Yang, but hey, you know what? Mi Yang had to have something, right? Dude, we should play with these 2 units. Dude, this unit too, I didn't even see this. Oh my God, I didn't even see this. I was looking at these. I was looking at these 4. Honestly, these, like, you could just pick these units in a row, and this is an RTA comp. So, okay, wait. Let's do Byung Chul with, like, Yanhong. We could do Lima here, Elenoa, and Ella. So, wait, this is too many. This is too many monsters. This is too many monsters. So, dude, your account is popping. Your account is popping. Like, this is an account that I would want personally. You have monsters that, like, I can only dream of. You're going to have so much fun. All my LD5s started with, so L. Oh yeah, you're right. Eludia, Ella, Eleanor, Elenoa. What are the odds of this? Eludia, Elenoa, Eleanor, Ella. Are you kidding me? And Aurelia. This is so funny. My first 4, wow. That is hilarious. Okay, so you've got some decisions to make here, right? Obviously, I've told you to rune up, or I've told you like a lot of units that can make you have fun in RTA. We're gonna have to kind of condense that a little bit, because at the whole start of this was also that like you shouldn't have too many monsters rune. But you found yourself in a position where like you have like really fun units. So yes, I think you could totally do a Bruiser comp with like Byung Chul, Yanhong, Elenoa to cycle, But Stoic also just shouted out what I wanted to get to as well. Ella fits really really well in with monsters that have high value skills with higher cooldowns. So like Cigar Shizuka, and here's what Stoic say. Ella is super nice. Shizuka with pseudo ventilate skill 2 is super nice in a team. I completely agree. Keeping up cooldowns. This is fantastic. I truly appreciate the info, says Lazy. Anytime, dude. I'm really glad, you brought this in. This is really cool for us to look at. So if you want to go Bruiser, like, you have great monsters for it. But like, if you have the rune depth to do it, like if you have the ability to have more monsters runes, I would rune up Bruiser comps, and I'd maybe rune up like a CC control comp featuring like Ella, and just see which one you prefer, right? Just see what you like vibe with the most. Ella, Noah, and Yanhong, just spam those two and coast as Swamp. I am completely with what Swamp just said. That's my suggestion. Like, because, let me tell you why. So these two both do something similar in different ways. Yanhong contributes damage, and she strips, and her skill 3 is a cycle. By filling up the attack bar, that can essentially be read as reducing the skill cooldown time by 1, right? That's essentially what this is doing, and it's healing them, and herself. So this and this both reduce cooldown. Same here. So you've got this comp here where like all of a sudden you can have cooldowns up permanently. And I think that this thing, like these 3 plus Byung-chul, who has an AoE strip skill 2, plus 1 more could be like extremely helpful. The only thing you need to worry about though is getting like outsped. So like what you may want to just be ready for is like having your Yanhong on like a super fast set, so you can boost somebody high value up. You can boost up either Byung-chul or like your Lima to like cleanse and apply invincibility and immunity. Like I think that's the sort of way that you need to start thinking about this situation. You could almost fit a Layla into this game. It's so funny. You could almost do like Byung-chul, Lima, Yanhong. Oh, or like, I actually would rather you do 1, 2, 3, 4, but this might be too much. This might be too much reducing cooldowns. I'm having too much fun. I'm gonna leave this account before I get too like deep. Oh, sorry guys, I have the game. It's that bug that only I encounter. Oh, it's not done yet. Hold on. So guys, while I'm waiting for the game to come back for a second, I just want to remind everybody we do have a survey today. I haven't posted it on the YouTube chat yet. Let me do that right now. So that link is for me. If you click that link, you can fill it out. We give 75 crystals to a random number of people equal to the max viewership we get on stream. I'm not on Europe. I could do Europe if we'd like though. I know we're kind of on a roll here right now. And also now that the game is closed, you will have to send a message again in chat channel 10. Sorry about that. Just wait for me to get back in there. Are you guys doing your daily rune crafts, by the way? I hope so. Use it to get rage runes. Seriously, like use it to get the runes you need to farm. Okay, I'm back in chat channel 10. Martian Empire says, check out my island, you'll love it. Whoa, dude. This is looking like a forum. This is looking like a city forum or something. This is really cool. Dude, that's awesome. Minato or Shun or somebody. Is that Minato? Oh, it's Shun. I had a feeling. I was like, that's either Shun or Minato, or it could be Killua. You know, they all look like Killua. Okay. Imagine missing your daily rune craft. Evan, you naughty boy. What was the other game in your screen almost next to the SW icon? Dude, that's Soul Strike. We're doing a Soul Strike stream later today. Soul Strike at 2 p.m. Pacific, 2 hours. 2 hours from now, we're doing a Soul Strike stream. Come by. It's gonna be me. We're gonna be farming. We're gonna be having a good time. If you guys haven't seen Soul Strike yet, I would just say to like, just check it out. Just come by. You don't have to, obviously you don't need to download it, but if you don't want, I just want to see you guys is what I'm saying. But you should come by because I really enjoy that game. So even if you have a passing interest, I would just come in. Is Soul Strike fun? Yes, it is fun actually. Evan, I'm actually so annoyed and excited. I'm a free-to-play player, 3 years, and never got an LV5. I made an alt for funsies and pulled Kovarsi in day 4. Oh my God. Salve Anji. Tudo beleza, Lindell? So I have to make it my new main. I panic about that a lot. So that's actually why I stopped summoning when I opened my Europe account. Because I would joke, like there are a few units that would turn my alt into my main, and I think that Yanhong or Lima or Elenoa, like one of those ones we just saw, might be, or honestly, if I got Sylvia, I'd be really interested in playing through the early game of Summoner's War with a Sylvia. I actually think having a team up on every one of her turns on Violent Runes would be really cool to see how that impacts the early game. Like, there's a few units that like I'd be interested in like running a new main for like RTA purposes, but Sylvia is one of the ones that I'd be interested to try to do like PvE content with, just because it's like, dude, it's a free team up every turn. That sounds so sick. Extra turn for Verd, extra turn for Lauren. Like, that sounds amazing. Okay, and let me keep going. Sorry guys, let me get back into the chat. You guys are interesting me too much. So Bonanza's asking for help with an R5 team. Let me look at some stuff. I'm gonna recommend monsters for you. I just wanna I wanna say one more time too, guys, like building a whole comp would take too much time. Like, you know, and it's also kind of hard to do. So what I would say is like, there are videos on YouTube of how to make a solo R5 team. Wait, I think I just got a buzz. Stoic just messaged me. Dude, the 0 speed recon. Stoic. Stoic just sent me a picture of a 0 speed recon. I love that. Okay, so just to finish out that thought, so solo R5 comps, right? So there are YouTube videos on it, and one day I plan on like making a video of that for the channel too. Admittedly, just, you know, I don't mean to like pierce the veil, but my friend and editor Michael, he's very like busy right now. He's inundated with a lot of stuff, and we're having to edit some things that aren't necessarily directly related to Summoners War Sky Arena. So like, with that in mind, it's, you know, it's kind of busy right now. So when it gets less busy, I'd like to make a raid video, because it's gonna be longer, right? It's gonna be a longer video. So for now, I'm gonna recommend some monsters that helped me. So first of all, actually Ikaru is a great suggestion. 2A Lulu is actually an example of what I'm talking about. So this monster box actually features an aerial. And Aerial is a high value unit in R5 because of his skill 3. It's a hard skill 3, it's an active skill. It's not a passive, so it can't get Oblivion, right? And this is an AoE cleanse plus better, it gets better, right? It's an AoE cleanse and it gets better from there. Lulu actually does something incredibly similar. She has an AoE cleanse on skill 3. So this would be a farmable option if you don't have Aerial. And for this comp, I'm probably gonna recommend you use both, but on different teams. That's probably what we're gonna go. So far I've recommended you Ikaru, I've recommended you Aerial, I've recommended Lulu. Let's keep looking and see what else we got. I really like using 2A Raok in here as well. Oh, you've got an Amelia. I don't know how smart she is on auto though. So I'm not gonna like straight up say like use this, because I don't know how she does like that. You can also use Vanessa. Vanessa's skill 3 is stopped by silence, not by Oblivion. So you can totally use a Vanessa. I'd bring Raok as well. I don't think I use Verd in my team. So something to be noted as well is that as the boss, or as you take turns, it's gonna get harder for you. So you don't necessarily want all of your units on Violent, especially in the beginning. I love Astar, I love Baelger. You should have like a BJ5 comp, I think. Usually like I run a BJ5 comp for that high damage, but put them on the far right, so that way you can control where the head swings, right? So after the head destroys the BJR5 team, it's gonna go to the middle, and it doesn't have a choice. If it's in the middle, it's gonna go randomly to the left or right, and you wanna have some agency over that decision. And so you can put your tankiest team in the center, so that way the head swings to the middle instead. Someone said Lala and Friends is kind of fun to use in R5. I'm forgetting what their skill 3 does. I actually have Lala and Friends, but I'm forgetting what they do. That's my bad on that. You can use Riley, but I think what I'm going to recommend, actually you should, Riley's pretty good. You can use Riley. Wind Homunculus as well is a great damage option for these comps. Evan, I would really appreciate you check my beginner account to give me suggestions on my net 5s, what to do with them, etc. But I'm on EU. I'll go to EU after this then. I think you could also use Shaman. You could use Bella Dion as a healer and booster. I do use Fran and Lauren on my team as well. So now, oh, and Crow. This is great. This is great stuff. So Bonanz, now that I've shown you this, let me just show you what my team is really fast, just so you can get an idea, right? So we've mentioned a lot of monsters, and this is kind of more or less what it looks like when it's put together. Imagine that my Annabelle is a different monster. Like ideally you still want defense break on that, right? But like someone else can provide the defense break. And then, so imagine this is like Lulu. Imagine that's Lulu instead. So now I've got cleanse and immunity over there. Aerial I've got here too, and you have aerial. The only thing that we didn't really talk about is damage reduction. So between Darien and Diaz, you have 2 monsters that reduce incoming damage. So that's something that you should try to seek as well, is damage reduction. But I think you have the makings of a pretty solid comp. Let me just see if there's something else going on in here really quick. I do want to see if people want me to go to Europe. Can I see hands in chat if you'd like me to go to Europe? SG10. SG10, let me help you. Hurricane 38, I wanted to look at your book. Abyssal and spiritual. Yeah, so you had taken some time away from the game and you came back and Abyssal's here. Global, please. Yes, EU. Please come to Europe. Come to Brazil. Brazil. Okay. Stay in NA for a little bit. Okay, but so, I mean, we only have so much time, but let me answer this question before we make our decision. So I would try to push into the Abyss dungeons, by the way. I would try to push in there because the drop rates are significantly better. Now, the only thing to consider with this is that they are immune to dots, and I see you're using the dot team. So we're gonna have to make some shifts. I'd recommend just going the starter team route when you're getting into Giants. Like, you don't necessarily need to jump right into a speed team, although you do have a Liam. So Liam is gonna facilitate some speed teams for you, which is very, very cool. Like, that is awesome. So why don't we use, until I find a different max HP damage dealer, that because I don't see Geralt. I don't see Water Geralt in here. So why don't we say, let's use Sigmaris' leader skill. Let's bring Veramos, Ruined on Rage, yeah? Let's bring Veramos on Rage with high crit rate, speed, crit damage HP. Then, let's use a Kamamir. We can do a Kamamir as your second or third damage dealer, rather. And then let's do Bella Dion. And I really like Shannon in that last slot. I find that she makes it a lot safer. Chat, can someone tell me, do you need to have Shannon second awakened? I actually don't know if it's required that she be second awakened. You know, like, I mean, the extra stats help, but she is wind, so the boss is gonna glance against her. So, and I don't see that she's already second awakened, and I don't wanna tell you to go have to do that right away. You don't, says Reed the Pyre. Okay, perfect, yeah. But it's recommended that she be 2A, says Reed. Okay, and Predict says, I say it as Akamamir. Instead, Akamamir instead of Akamamir. Shannon can be regular Shannon. Okay, cool. So that's great. That's actually great news, because that means that you have all the units you need to begin this little adventure. Rune Belladilla Swift, I wouldn't necessarily put it on Violent. Say Shannon, you can put on Despair or Swift. Godfather is saying the stats is what's helping from the Second Awakening. Okay, roger that. That sounds good. So yeah, the turn order should look something probably like Shannon first, Bella Dion to set up the defense break, then your 3 damage dealers, right? So, you know, Veramos, Sigmaris, and Akamamir, in whatever order you like. It matters slightly less what order from that place. So I would do that. I think that looks good. Nexon says, hey, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Okay, I hope that helps. Necro advice. We haven't talked about Necro all day. That's crazy, actually. We haven't mentioned Necro a single time. You have the right idea. Actually, you do have the right idea, but I'm gonna change up the units a little bit. So for Necro B9, I mean, you might as well start trying to make some moves towards like the Abyss dungeons anyway, like just because you can run the team that you're gonna run for Abyss dungeons in the floors leading up to Abyss, right? So like if you happen to have Airgar, the Dark Vampire Lord, you can run him as your leader. If you don't have him, he's available in the Ancient Coin Shop. I'm just gonna check real quick to see if you got him. Doesn't look like it. By the way, has anybody used Liam and Necro? He does have multi-hits, so I'm curious, but I don't think, but I think it feels like it could be. When was the other stream starting? 2 p.m. Pacific time. Don't think I have him. I use Liam in Dragons rather than Necro. I don't know, because I don't think you need to use him. As long as he's moving last, that's fine. Like, he'll do a lot of damage to the boss one way or the other, which is great. But I don't think you necessarily, like, need to do it. I would say, like, we could use some other stuff instead. So I'm going to recommend you use something like Ergar the Dark Vampire Lord. It could be either him or Abigail, who's the Water Cannon Girl. And both of them have the exact same lead. It's an attack power lead in dungeons of 38%. So what you can do after that is you can bring something like Second Awaken Ikaru, Second Awaken Crow, Second Awaken Raoak. Those are all Inugamis, right? So the Fire Inugami, the Dark one, the Water one. You can bring all of those in the dungeon and then use something for damage. If you want it to be Liam, it technically could be Liam, but I think if you have Astar, the Fire Magic Knight, that's my ideal. And then also, I'm going to recommend that you get Shaman, who is the Light Griffin. He was just recently made into a secret dungeon. Oh, you do have Astar right here. Look at that, she's right there, becomes Astar. She is fantastic here, especially with the team-up effects you're getting from the Inugamis. And after that, I would just say that you should probably farm the secret dungeon for Shaman the Light Griffin and make sure to Second Awaken him ASAP. And then all of a sudden, you'll have a really reliable Necro team that you can bring into Abyss. So this is more or less what I'm recommending you, right? But this Abigail is semi-optional. Like, it doesn't have to be her. It can be Ergar. You could try Liam. I just don't know how it's gonna work. The reason I like Abigail so much is that she applies AoE defense break. And Shaman is a secret dungeon, exactly. My friend Michael just got one before the stream today, actually. Got him over the weekend, I think. You can, yeah, Michael, you can get Shaman from SD. They just added it. And Abigail doesn't even need accuracy. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that they made him an SD. In fact, there's a new video on the channel actually that released, not last weekend, I think, but a bit before that. And it talks about the new secret dungeons that were just added. They added 6 of them. And they're all super valuable, which is fantastic. Shaman's one of them. Gina is one of them. Gina's the Dark Mystic Witch. They added Sath. They added Thrain. Like, it was very, very helpful. Fantastic. Lynn? Yeah. This comp is like extremely safe. I think that's all of them. Oh, Rusty Banjo. What? No way. Guys, everybody farm this. Farm this. Oh, I accidentally requested. Farm the, hey, I'll farm it. I'll farm it. Whoa, and Lauren? Dude, wait a minute. And Darian? Stop, everybody stop what you're doing. Farm these dungeons. Please farm these dungeons. Legitimately, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Legitimately, Estella Maki, honestly, for the win, and Rusty Banjo, you guys are the best. Okay, so wait. You guys are amazing. Let's talk about which ones of these to hit real quick. Hit the Cowgirl, get the Vagabond, get the Griffin, get the Bearman just for fun, get the Inugami, you know, like legitimately, this is fantastic. Like, you guys should get all these monsters. Please farm them. Please, like I will legitimately, look at this. Look at this, dude. I'm gonna do a round right now, actually. Like, it's always good to have more, right? Like, what if I needed to make multiple Shamans for a video? I don't know what situation would require multiple Shamans, but you might as well just farm it so that way you get it. Seriously, chat channel 10, get Lauren's stat, get Shaman. Shaman is one of the most important monsters to have. Like, there are so many situations where element neutrality and max HP damage scaling comes into play. Like, you can run this monster in Giants. Full Shaman Necro team. Dude, Necro B10, 5 Shamans. Not even enough to break the shield. Physically unable to break the shield, but it's all you need. It's so funny. You guys are hilarious. Could you make a team that would beat all dungeons? People have tried, and I think the Kyle team can do it, actually, right? I've seen some people talk about that on Reddit, and I'm pretty sure the Kyle team can do it. Man, they never want to just fight the boss. Attack order, boss. I didn't even know that was there for secret dungeons. Okay. Look at that. 4 pieces. I'm gonna have to do it a lot, so I'm not gonna do that multiple times. Sorry, but oh, and the Grim Reaper. And Crow! Wait, you guys are amazing. And get this, get all of these. Get all of the dark ones that were just opened up too. Guys, y'all are the best. This is an amazing community in chat right now. Chat is popping off. You guys are fantastic. Like, this is gonna be a huge help for people. Like, truly. Like, some of these monsters are essential for, like, early game progression. Dude, chat is being, like, the ultimate homie right now. Like, y'all are great. Okay. So real quick, guys, why don't I go over to EU? Should I go over to EU for a second? Let's do this. Let me go to Europe server real quick, and then I will answer as many questions as I can for like 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna have to break to set up for the Soul Strike stream and to eat something really quick. I would love it if you guys do come to Soul Strike. But let's go to EU, let's talk. Fire Desert Queen still good. I pulled her yesterday. Absolutely, she is. Super fast base speed. Redeem all this energy. Clearly I don't play on this account. Could be fun to actually like to summon on here actually. I don't have as many scrolls as I thought. Maybe I stopped redeeming them after a while. Yeah, I guess I probably stopped redeeming them after a while. Yeah, I thought I had like more LDs on here. 99 out of 120. Like, this could be a fun one to start with. Dude, how funny is it to see new on 3 stars? Oh, that's so fun. Okay, Chad Channel 10. I've been waiting for you here. Please help me with my Nat 5s. Let's talk. Okay, so you're looking to see what Nat 5s you should be building, right? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go back real quick and just see what you've completed first, just for my own reference. You've already done TOA. You've already done Abyss. You've done Abyss dungeons on everything except Necro. Oh, you're right there. I actually think that you could do Abyss on Necro if you took out the Fran. I actually think if you took out Fran and put in either Crow or Shaman, you might be able to do it as is. Like, you might be able to just do Necro Abyss. Right now, it's a little too safe. Like, I find that Fran loses the ability to be beneficial as you go. Same with Punisher's Crypt too. I don't know if you need that Riley, but if you put in a Crow there, that actually might do better. Like, sometimes Riley just slows things down too much. Spiritual Realm as well. That should, instead of Riley, that team is perfect. I would just remove the Riley. It's perfect except for Riley. Take her out and put in Seek the Fire Hellhound, and you're gonna be flying through that dungeon. It'll shave nearly a minute off the time, truly. Like nearly a minute. Like I'm talking like probably 47 seconds total, or like 50 seconds is gonna be your average instead. So I would run that. You asked me a question about your Nat 5s though. And so let's do this. We're talking what Nat 5s to focus on. I see you already built Leo. I want to make a case for Leo for everybody real quick. If you have pulled a Leo and you're still doing PvE content, I would build a Leo purely for the Tartarus floors that do speed limit. Leo evens that playing field. So the whole point of the speed limit stages, right, is that you're at a disadvantage because your enemies can be faster than you. Leo now imposes that same cap on them, right? So that's how it kind of evens the playing field. And now all of a sudden you're in an advantage because you're moving first. So this is good that you built him for that reason. Gina's perfect as well for Steel Fortress, but that's not what you're asking. I think you already have a Manon built, right? I would feed this second one for Ancient Crystals. Yeah, you already have a Manon, so Ancient Crystals would be good unless someone can make an argument for why you'd want more than one Manon for like Siege maybe? For like Siege defenses, but to me that seems a little much. I would do Ancient Crystals for that. Oh, same with Leo, unless you wanted to build like a second Leo. Like some people build a fast Leo, some people do an extremely fast, but I don't know if that's necessary. I think maybe feed the dupes for Ancient Crystals. Renav, no way. What's going on? How are you? I'm good. Good to see you. Oh my, predict. Oh my God, that Leo tip just solved a major problem for me in the lab. Heck yeah, dude. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that's the type of tip that is a game changer for Tartarus, like truly. So if you have a Leo in your early game, you're still just doing PvE and you're focusing on like Tartarus a little bit in guilds, build Leo, truly. Evan, show them how to get the crystals. Wait, I don't think I can on this account. I don't know if I've got the craft building on Europe. It's in the craft building. Just trust me on this. I actually don't know if this account has the craft building. I'm level 1. I'm level 1 out of 100 on this account. And so my 5 Bellinuses aren't valid? Probably not. Oh my goodness. What do you got back here? This unit is good for TOA hell if you wanted to do that, but I don't know if it's super necessary for you. So out of these Nat 5s, like the only build that I would necessarily say would be your priorities would actually be the Dark Homunculus and probably the Bastet. Now, there is room for, like, if we're talking PvP, you could build the Federica, and if you want a good arena offense team, you could do something like Bastet and John, right? So Bastet feeds really well into John because she gives an attack buff on her skill 3. John places bombs, and bombs scale off of your attack. So this is kind of an important combo to just keep in mind. You do have an Irene as well. Irene, I think that accent is like Irene, right? So Irene, right? You know, it's Irene, something like that. I don't know. Could be Irene. I don't know. Maybe before you leave on global, then it's not as intuitive as some people think. Okay, understood. I think that's a really good point, Estelamaki. So Irene, thank you. I was wondering about how to do an arena offense. Thank you for the suggestions. Is this your account that I'm looking at right now, or is it? If it's your account, then let me see what I got for arena offense. You do have a P-Sama. We'll keep that in mind. You actually have a pretty solid arena defense option if you wanted to go for like counter cleave. You could go P-Sama lead, Clara to cut in, right? So Rune Clara to be the fastest. I suppose you could do Bastet in that case, but usually when people do these trap comps, they do like Clara with P-Sama. You could do Kali, and now you're like nuking people. You're like reverse nuking them, which is really fun. Actually, you could do Bellinus first, so you could make it so that it's like, but that's just something to keep in mind. That's for arena defense. For arena, or you could go safer and do like Manon. Something with Manon is usually good for defense. Like Manon, Darien, Triana with an HP lead. I keep answering your defense question, not your offense question, sorry. For offense, I like to use Galleon with an AoE strip. I do not see an AoE strip right now, but you can get one. I don't know if you got Verisa, who's the Dark Blade Dancer. I don't know if you, oh, this is also a strip. When this awakens, I believe it gets a skill. Blocks out, removing one beneficial effect on each of them and denying usage of any skills with cooldowns for 2 turns. So strip and silence. You can actually use this as the stripper, then you can bring like Galleon for the AoE defense break and 2 big damage dealers. The damage dealers, I suppose, could be, you could do Bellinus for that. You could do P-Sama. Let me see what else you got. Oh, Kaki. Yeah, you can use Kaki. Or what you could also do is you could, instead of Galleon, you could do AoE strip, right? So you could do the strip option we talked about, then Bastet, and then Jean. The only thing there is that you'd have to build both of them, but it's not necessarily a problem. Oh, nice. You guys are adding it. You guys are getting like secret dungeons in here too. Guys, you should get this Vagabond. The Vagabond is really fun. Let me see what else is in here too. We've got the Warbear. I think the Warbear has some use. And this Howl is fun too once it's second awakened. Okay. RTA comp. RTA comp for Lucy. RTA comp. Wow, you've got Ragdoll. Oh my gosh, you haven't really played much RTA yet. You're welcome. Anytime, dude. Dude, this account, I can already tell, you are going to have some fun in RTA. You've got Lucifer back here and Ragdoll. Like, this is amazing, and you haven't done much RTA at all. This is fast. I love this sort of thing. This is fantastic. Oh, I'm in Europe currently. So let's go. Oh my God, dude, you got Leo. So you're gonna do Leo, Lucifer, Ragdoll for sure. You could even bring Talasha with that if you wanted to. Oh no, actually I would do Gapsu for the HP lead. And you do have Talasha build. Dude, this account is gonna have so much fun. This is so this is so cool. You could do, you could absolutely do like Leo, Ragdoll, Lucifer, right? Because you know Leo, Lucifer is a combo. Leo, this is what I was hoping you'd have. I didn't know for sure if you were gonna have Leo, but that's a combo. This is fantastic. And you could, so Gapsu fits into this semi-well, right? Because Gapsu's got a really impactful leader skill for specifically him and Ragdoll. Now, if you bring Talasha in with that, it gets even more value. The only thing that's like a little bit weird about this comp is that it is a 5-unit comp, right? So you'll notice when I'm recommending stuff for other people, I'm trying my best to only say like, these 3 units are your core, or at most these 4 units are your core. You wanna have a flex pick. So like this unit, or rather this team, I just recommended you pick 5 units. So there's like no flex room in this, but like Leo, Ragdoll, Lucifer, Talasha, and like you have one. You have one right there. You have one spot to flex pick. I think that that is your comp for RTA, my dude. That is like really sick. I would love to be able to play that comp. If you want help on any of that, actually, you share a lot of units with Stoic. The only thing that he doesn't have, I don't think he has a Lucifer. So like, with that in mind, you could absolutely, Leo, Ragdoll, Lucifer, Talasha. I don't know if you need the Lucian in there. I would almost go like Annabelle. I would actually go like Annabelle for that, for the cleanse, and then the AoE defense break as well. Or you might as well, like you could do Rakan. I'm just not as big of a fan of that because you don't want to do like 0 speed Rakan unless you can guarantee the Leo makes it through. And if you're picking the Leo, you can't guarantee that it makes it through, right? I think it's either Talasha or Lucifer, but not both. Okay, that's a good point. Thank you for that. I wasn't aware of that. I don't have that, so like I'm not as familiar with the Lucifer fitting in here. Thank you for that shout out there. That's from Bunga Kunga. Thank you. Oh, and I recommended Gapsu. That was the other one that was like the big one. But that's it. That's it. Oh, so that's the Lucy. The Lucy is Lucifer. Lucy for glory. Oh, and we were looking for the Dark Yeti. You're welcome. What should I first pick for that comp? You want to first pick whatever like people are going to go for the most, or the thing that's the most accepted. So if you're guaranteed going to go that comp, I would actually do like Gapsu first, probably. And the reason is because Gapsu is like farmable, right? In theory, everybody who's playing RTA has a Gapsu. In theory. You don't want to show Leo too early because like it's too easy to counter early. So you could go like Gapsu, and then I would go like Lucifer, Leo, right? So in the second and third pick slot instead of the first pick, I would go for Lucifer, Leo, and then maybe Ragdoll and the last thing. That's probably what I would do, but honestly, I don't have a lot of these units that I'm suggesting to you. So what I would say is I would recommend that you kind of do your due diligence, talk to some people that have it. Stoic's got it, watch some of his gameplay, or check on YouTube and watch some replays. Like those are both paths that I would take. Do just a little bit of research on like how the team works, what they're picking first and last, what flex picks they're doing for that 5th slot, just stuff like that. And thank you, Predict says Gapsu first pick gives you leeway in your draft too. Because Gapsu is not super telling, right? Like Gapsu might give them an inkling, but it's still a semi-neutral pick. Because in theory, it's kind of like a Raccoon. You know, you don't really know what it's doing. It's healing you a little bit, it's gaining some attack bar, but it isn't like a full-on like, hey, I'm gonna cleave you, or I'm gonna do this. So I think you'll be okay. Lurt says, I wouldn't mind some insight on my account. Let me take a look. So you've been playing for a while, clear TOA, which is great. We could probably speed up these Abyss hard teams. I think your Giants team is suffering because you're using both Fran and Lauren. So Fran and Lauren are great for the Bs 1 through 10, but now that the counterattack hits AoE, you don't really want to run both of them. I would instead run either one or neither. I almost opt for neither, to be honest. If you want to stick with the starter team, you can substitute in Bella Dion and Shannon. So Bella Dion being the light Inugami, Shannon being the Wind Pixie. But like I wouldn't necessarily run these guys because they're going to tick up that counter towards the counterattack way too fast. Skyfrey, are the players pre-selected or do we give the info during the stream? Welcome to the chat, by the way. I'm glad you made it. Unfortunately, we are getting close to the end of the stream. I'm so sorry you made it at this point, but it is during the stream. I'm just hanging out in chat channel 10. You just let me know. We're just making conversation. Yeah, asking to check your book or something. Says Predict. You're so funny. I'm trying to do some faster dungeon teams, but I play pretty casually, but I'm trying. That's excellent. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy to report that I don't think you need to make too many changes in order to make this work and to get faster. But I'll remind you too that consistency is king. You know, it's like if it's going fast, or we're like, that's great, but I mean, really, if it's consistent, that's all that matters. I would shift your Veramos over to a damage build too. So right now he's on attack, defense, HP. I would instead rune him on the following. I would put him on rage, right? Instead of Violent, I would put him on Rage as the 4 set. And the offset doesn't really matter that much. I want to remind, this is for everybody in chat too that's like maybe new to Summoner's War. In PvE environments, the second rune set doesn't really matter. It doesn't even need to exist, to be honest. Like, you could just get 2 runes that have excellent stats and you should be fine. Like, I think that'll be way better. So what I'm suggesting you do is change him from Violent over to Rage, put him on high crit rate, high speed. So speed, crit damage, HP. And then you can still run Sigmaris as your leader. And then I think instead of the Fran and the Lauren, you can just run Belladon and Shannon instead. Oh, the other thing I wanted to shout out as well is you do have the Water Geralt. Water Geralt's actually really good in this dungeon. Water Geralt's actually really good here because of the max HP damage. And also, if the target's immune to stun, his cooldown gets reduced. So you can use this again. So that's my recommendation for your Giants team, and we can talk about Dragons too later. I would also recommend you check out the videos that I have on the YouTube channel too. Mostly play to get better PvP teams because that's where the fun is. I completely agree. But one thing to remember is that like better teams for PvE are gonna they're gonna feed into your PvP. So that, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. Dude, I love this monster. Looks like a Super Saiyan. It's so sick. I really want one of these. It is also incumbent on me to say that, like, you do have the hardest to get piece of the speed team for Giants. So, oh, dude, I'm not. So real quick, guys. Real quick, let me just do this. I'm gonna bounce over to global real fast. I just wanna show you something. I wanna show you something really fast. And I'm so sorry, guys, I am running low on time. If I didn't get to you, I do try to do these things fairly frequently. But I want to show 2 things real quick. Estella Maki pointed out that I should probably show people how to get the ancient crystals. So I want to do that. And then I wanted to show you a run of the Giants team that I'm recommending. So right over here in others, you go to the ancient crystals and you can select your dupe. You can select your dupe Nat 5, put it in there, and then feed it and you'll get ancient crystals. Oops, sorry. And now we also have the Giants team. So this is not it. I actually want this here and then this, who is now a secret dungeon, by the way. The Shaman is now a secret dungeon. So if you don't have him, you can get one. So this is the comp. I'm just kind of going to let this run for a second so you can see the speed tuning alert. But you actually have the only monster that is not farmable. So you could make this comp. But I know you're kind of like interested in playing casually. But all these other monsters are completely free to play, and you happen to have the Teshar. Wish Teshar was farmable though. Man, people made it look like he was when they that Choosing Nat 5 event was around. Like, so, and Lurt's got one. So you've actually got the hardest part. And this team is extremely safe too, because as you'll notice, when this comes up, he's gonna take a turn and he'll kill like all other units except my Homunculus. So everybody, and then the Homunculus comes back. And so if Teshar can't finish it up, boom, extremely safe. Extremely safe because that's on his passive, right? So this is how it will theoretically go every time. And it could be faster too if I had more damage on it to circumvent the death. But anyway, guys, that's all we have time for today. I'm gonna be streaming Soul Strike at 2 p.m. Would love to see you guys there. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later, okay? Bye, everybody. Stay in chat, we'll raid somebody. Bye, everybody.